What's up guys, Darkdally here, and today I am so busy playing Horizon Zero Dawn because it's so much fun, and I want to give you all my first impressions after my first 12 hours of play. Now, immediately off the start, the lush, almost tangible visuals pulled me right in. It's amazing how screenshots you take and look at later, it's amazing how they look like pre-rendered art from a poster, but it's all there, and it's all real, and it all moves at 30 frames a second. So, so yeah, it's immersive, but it's not perfect. There's definitely a couple of jitters in the flow that keep it from being a picture-perfect ride through the world, and I'll address those as I touch on each topic, but the immersion is incredible. From the way Aloy runs her hands through the tall grass as she wades through it, to the way a small dog-sized robot suddenly snaps alive like it's possessed, trying to rip off your limbs. Things like that pulled me in, and they flowed as if they were scripted, even though they're not. Because everything that happens is the result of what you tell Aloy to do, and it's just awesome. Much of the enjoyment I get from this game really brings me back to Far Cry 4. Horizon Zero Dawn is so much deeper on every level, but the comparison is there, and it's some awesome nostalgia because, for the record, I did have a lot of fun with Far Cry. Now, as far as the story goes, I haven't gotten very far into it yet. Though I'm 12 hours in, I take the time to explore every nook and cranny, find every hidden data log, vantage point, and map marker I can. But those are part of the story too, you know? So, what's it all about? Well, imagine 1,000 years in the future. Civilization as we know it has crumbled hundreds of years ago, leaving only overgrown ruins and mysterious machines that prowl the landscape. The remnants of our people now live in tribal communities knowing nothing about the technological world before them. To them, our world is a mystery. Our technology is just magic and legend. Of course, Aloy, our heroine, isn't complacent to accept the way the world is told to her. She has deeper questions about how things came to be and what happened to the old ones, as they call them, which are the people of our time, which died out some 1,000 years ago. There's a fair amount of dialogue, and your choices to respond are well defined and can affect real change in the world, even during side quests. And the dialogue is a big part of what makes a story interesting because, in my opinion, of the facial expressions. You can see so much real emotion in the faces of the people you talk to. It reminds me of Witcher 3 in that way. You can almost just forget what's going on and let yourself get pulled into each character's world. There's definitely some jitters here, though, because sometimes, well, it's all because of the expressions. When a character changes from one line to another, or when you pick different conversation options with Aloy, there's a small twitch as it changes over. It's noticeable here and there, and it's worth mentioning, but it really does nothing to dampen my immersion in the dialogue. So the world, how big is the world? Well, it's definitely not the biggest I've seen, but every corner of it is unique and feels like a place I'd want to explore. I did make a general comparison to Far Cry 4 earlier, but the world here is definitely its own creature. Everything in Far Cry 4 seemed so same-ish everywhere I went. The world was just huge and uninteresting, but the world here in Horizon Zero Dawn just feels so organic. Now, I've only explored a small part of it so far in my journey to level 12 during my first 12 hours. There's a lot of verticality because in addition to traversing the world on foot or by mount, there's also parkour. They kept the parkour pretty simple, kind of like in Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, where you can pretty much just hit the same button and handle most of the obstacles. But this game doesn't focus on parkour. It's not a parkour game, and it doesn't overdo it like Shadow of Mordor did. The parkour in Horizon Zero Dawn has its place here and there, but it's not like you're an overpowered monkey god who can just go, anywhere. And that's actually kind of where some of the exploring can get jittery, because you can't climb and vault off just any surface. But the game does a great job of letting you know where parkour is an option, usually with yellow paint or ropes. Now, is that a little cheesy? That there's just magically these yellow ropes and painted ledges throughout the world, and only at places that you can conveniently climb? Well, perhaps. But at least you know what you can or can't climb, ahead of time. So overall, I'd say they do a decent job of letting you know, where you can get around without leaving you to wonder if a certain space is reachable or not. So yeah, to recap, it's not the biggest world I've ever seen, but Horizon Zero Dawn has so much surface area and so many lovingly designed places to hide, explore, and climb. Well, I'm 12 hours in and I've still only touched just this one corner of the map, so yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the combat. Some of these machines look so docile, even dare I say cute. Okay, the small velociraptor-looking watchers almost look like something you'd put on a leash and take for a walk. But let one of them see you, and oh my god, they instantly snap into kill mode and will rattle your screen trying to tear you limb for limb. So far for me, at level 12, I can kill most of the robots I come across with one shot if I'm careful and remember to use tactics and, take stock of my surroundings. The Watchers I spoke of are little more than fodder if you kill them correctly and can be dispatched with a single arrow, but if you miss that shot and a robot charges you, you can waste shot after shot at a charging enemy who will just leave you in utter what the fuck. It's awesome because it keeps combat from really ever becoming bland, like how in Witcher 3 where each enemy was its own fight with its own tactics. You can definitely expect that here. For the early game, as you're learning to get a handle on combat and the robots themselves, it's really best to stick with stealth. The enemies you encounter at the beginning, such as striders, grazers, scrappers, and the like, can all be one-shotted from stealth with the right skills. It's not long, though, before you find yourself accidentally aggroing a sawtooth. Think that big cat thing from the movie Avatar, and it charges at you, ripping and thrashing, and you find yourself deploying trip lines and ropes on the fly. It just becomes natural. Combat gets more comfortable, and with all the tactical options available, playing smart really does feel rewarding. Generally, when I see something that's big and mean, or even just small robots in a group, I'll take stock of my surroundings before engaging combat. Like patches of tall grass I could hide in, or narrow passages I can booby trap, and the like, and, just in case things do go south. Learn to use the tripcaster and the ropecaster early, and you'll find that taking down a 12-foot tall mechanical menace with only a bow and spear really isn't that hard, and in fact, it's pretty badass. So let's talk about mounts, because I do want to talk about this. You will gain an ability fairly early on to override certain machines, who will then fight for you, and in some cases, some of them can be ridden as mounts. The control is okay, and the riding looks pretty darn good, to be honest, although I've still yet to see better seamless horse riding than I saw in Metal Gear Solid 5. That said, though, the mount riding and combat, and yes, you can fight while mounted, feels pretty darn good, but there's a couple jitters here too. As in some games, once you get your mount moving, it will generally follow the road. But it doesn't do too well around sharp turns in the trail, or if you're going too fast, so your mount's ability to follow the road with no input from you is kinda just mediocre, to be honest. I prefer to travel mostly on foot, calling my mount back when I have a long stretch of road to cover, and yeah, if you're nearby, you can call your mount back, and they'll come trotting right back to you. Now, of course, there's also fast travel, and as I see it, they did a pretty good job of it. You can't just fast travel anywhere, blinking around the map. But then again, fast travel in Horizon Zero Dawn isn't too hard either. You can fast travel between campsites that you've unlocked just so long as you have a fast travel pack. Fast travel packs can usually be crafted and found here and there, and so while fast travel isn't unlimited, it's pretty much always available, and so that's pretty well done in my opinion. And now, speaking of crafting in Horizon Zero Dawn is a lot like it was in Far Cry. You can craft upgrades to your various bags, and also ammunition and the like. Parts from machines and even meat and bones from regular game can come in handy for expanding your inventory and arsenal. One great thing is that if you run out of arrows mid-combat, you don't have to pause and go to your crafting menu to make more. You can actually craft some things, such as ammo, right there from the weapon wheel, even in mid-combat if you have to. There's so much more I want to talk about here, but it's really best to save other videos for delving into specifics, So that said, there is one more thing I want to talk about here, and that is photo mode. This is an awesome tool and takes advantage of the beautiful graphics to make postcard-like screenshots anywhere, anytime. You'll find the option in the pause menu, and you can use it to move the camera in any direction, changing filters, even removing your character from the screenshot, and changing the time of day to get that perfect picture. This is one tool that I have so much fun with, capturing some of these things I see in the game that just take my breath away, and then I can save them and remember them like photographs. It really goes so much farther than just tapping the share button to take a screenie. Guys, this game is so incredible. I think the story is going to be good. I imagine, maybe not as epic as The Last of Us, but on par with Mass Effect. I expect that. I expect some awesome story moments and gameplay to keep me hooked on this game until the end. So tell me what you think. Are you getting Horizon Zero Dawn? And if you're playing it too, what are your thoughts? Guys, I'm having so much fun playing this, and I can't wait to make more video content of this game, so be sure to check back here for future videos showing tactics and delving into the lore and more. And if that's what you want to see, be sure to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for all the Horizon Zero Dawn updates and content yet to come. Alright guys, it's been fun. It's been a real pleasure. My name is Darkdally. I will catch you all next time.